Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today's video is part of the Homeschool Show and Tell series, which was created by Abby from Rooted in Rest and Jessica from the Wallaby Way. And it's an open collaboration, and every month there's a different homeschool topic. And the really cool thing about this is that so many people collaborate, and it just goes to show that there are so many different ways to homeschool. There's not one way to do it. And so if you're looking for ideas, definitely check out the playlist. I will leave also Abby and Jessica's channels down below as well, so you can check them out. They are veteran homeschool moms and they are amazing. So without further ado, let's talk geography. Hi, I'm Sam. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, checking out the playlist, I would love for you to join our little section of the homeschool community here on YouTube. I have 3 kiddos. My oldest son is a first grader. My daughter is 4.5. She is doing preschool. And then our youngest son is just a baby, and he is almost a year old. And I honestly can't believe it. He's almost a year old. So I am currently just surrounded by all things littles, and our homeschool certainly reflects that. So, you know, how we do geography is not going to be the same as how middle and high schoolers do geography, certainly what they're going to get out of it. So for us this year, geography was kind of in place of doing any sort of history. My oldest is just in first grade, and I decided I didn't want to start any sort of 4-year cycle through history until he was in 3rd grade. I basically did some backwards math, figured out when I exactly wanted to start that. So we're not going to start ancients until he's in 3rd grade. Next year when he's in 2nd grade, we're going to do a U.S. history. You know, we're going to do some units through U.S. history. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do this year, and I decided that it made the most sense to do a geography unit to expose my kids to all these different places around the world, be able to identify the continents, read maps, the oceans, landmarks, things like that. So that's what we're doing this year. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how it's going, what we've been doing, because I do have littles. I want it to be fun and engaging. I'm not worried about them memorizing anything. I don't think kids should memorize like all the capitals and that sort of thing anyway, but I'll show you exactly what we have been doing. So our geography curriculum for this year is just a download that I found on Etsy. I also have the US geography unit from them too as well. And it was this big PDF document that was, to me, it was sort of all mixed up, and I separated it the way I wanted it, printed multiple copies of the pages that I needed, and I put together the units the way that I thought they should be put together. So it's a big PDF that I organized myself. But this is what the real cover looks like. And it basically I broke it up into each of the continents having their own unit. So I let the kids pick. We started with Australia. That was the first one we did. So here it is. This is my son's. All completed, so we've already done this. And basically we started out, I'm going to show you the inside. This is my son's. It is completed. So it starts off with just like general information, where it's located, population, landmarks, that sort of thing. There's some definitions having to do with whatever continent you're doing. There's a page on a famous landmark. Then there's a animal study, and there's 6 animals. So here's my son's koala and some facts that he wrote out. So there's 6 animals that you study for each continent. I'm not going to show you all of my sons. They're all adorable though. And then we walk through basically each of the countries or territories. It kind of mixes them together, but all the maps, and there's a little bit of information next to each one, and then they basically color in the map. So that's basically how each of the units work. So every time we open up geography, we do basically a page at a time. When we first get to a continent, we do the main info page, all that basic information, where it's located, we colored in all that stuff. And then we'll alternate between doing the flags or the animals. My kids have really enjoyed that. When we first started doing, Australia was the first one we did. And when we first started, the first few times we did it, I was reading from the teacher guide, the information that was sort of printed for like each animal. And it was kind of boring. And then I had the idea to actually pull up YouTube videos. I don't know why I didn't think of this at first, but I started pulling up YouTube videos from the Australia Zoo. I was feeling very nostalgic. Some Crocodile Hunter, crikey, it's the Irwins TV show. I love that family. I think working or being near Australia Zoo, though, that family just seems so incredibly genuine and nice, and they clearly care for the animals so much. So I started pulling up clips from the Australia Zoo has like its own YouTube channel. And so I would pull up videos from their channel on the different animals that we were doing. And so that's how it started. And my kids really enjoyed it. The Irwins are amazing. So then I had the idea, well, why don't I pull up videos for the different countries when we're studying their flags? So then I started doing that as well. And that has been amazing. So every time we sit down and do geography, I basically pull up some sort of video. Now, all the countries, you know, not every country is going to have a video. So sometimes I do it more by region. Like right now we are in North America. So I had like one on Central America, one was on the Caribbean, Canada, Greenland, and the United States was basically how I broke that up. I didn't do a video for each separate country that we did a flag for. So yeah, I mean, you could if you wanted to, but that's just a lot to me. So that's how we ended up doing it. My kids have been really enjoying it. So every time we pull up a new country, here's how we do it. When we pull up a new continent, I have a scrunch map. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these before. They come in these little bags. This is the United States one. And then I have the scrunch map for the world map. So we'll lay this out on the floor. We'll kind of figure out where everything is. This is kind of nice in place of the globe. We do have a globe too, and my kids do enjoy that quite a bit, finding where things are. But I feel like there's a little bit more information on this sometimes than on the globe. So we pull that out. We figure out where it's at. We also have an atlas. It's right here. And that gives you even more information for sure, because everything's more zoomed in. And my main goal with the kids has been basic map reading skills. Finding the country, finding the capital with the star. I explained that the star is the capital. If there are other cities, they're just regular black dots. And then the other thing that we sort of learned was when we were doing Australia, there was lots of islands in the South Pacific. And so there are kind of like these lines drawn, and I had to explain like, okay, well, all the islands in between these lines are part of that country or territory. And so it's been a lot of fun. They're learning actual skills that they, you know, will need at some level when they're older. How to read a map is important. Even on Google, you need to be able to understand basic map reading skills. So that's been a lot of fun. I'm not so concerned about teaching them, you know, the population or the language or the currency or all those things. Sometimes I mention it if they ask. If they don't, I don't bother with it. We also are learning about landmarks. That's the last part of our unit. So we did the main page. We alternate between the animals and the flags. And then the very last thing, by then we're like pretty familiar with the continent in general, and I've already sort of planted some seeds, like different landmarks they might want to pick, and the kids each pick their own different ones. I make sure they don't do the same one, and they research it. I help them. We watch a video on it, again, same thing, or we get books on it too, but the video is more what they enjoy. And then they give they have to write the facts and draw it, and they kind of present it to us. And it's a lot of fun. They've been really enjoying that, and that sort of wraps it up. And I feel like doing the landmark last has been very it's been the right way to go. So the thing that has been actually most fun for me is seeing, especially my first grader, my preschooler. I mean, she's doing the things because she wants to be involved, but I'm not actually sure how much she's taking away, but that's okay. But my first grader especially, he is connecting all of these dots, especially I've noticed with our science curriculum. We have been doing The Good and the Beautifuls, Little Hearts and Hands, Sparks and Stars. And there are a few lessons where we paused and we had this huge like deep dive into a couple of the lessons. One of them that comes to mind is when we did, I think it was the sun lesson, and we were basically talking about how the earth is tilted on an axis, and as it goes around the sun, you know, sometimes you're tilted towards or away, depending on where you are. And that's how we get the seasons. And I could tell we were like reading a story on it, and especially my first grader was kind of like, I just don't get it. And so we stopped. And if I have a picture of it, I will insert it here somewhere. But we had magnet tiles on the floor as the sun. We marked out like the months of the year, and we just used magnet tiles. It was nothing crazy. And we took our globe and we walked it around, and I explained, like, look, okay, we're right here. We're in North America, the United States. Look, in the summer, we're tilted more towards the sun. Do you see that? And then he was like, yes. And then, you know, and then we did the opposite with Australia. Well, look, they're not tilted towards the sun. Look, they're away from it. They're in the southern hemisphere. So my kids were learning northern and some southern hemisphere. We walked it all the way around. And then we ended up changing out the magnet tiles because my son was like, well, if it's summer, they should be, you know, red because the temperature is hot. And then if it's in the winter, it should be blue or something. So we changed it all to magnet tiles, but we just used, you know, random objects and did a visual, you know, the earth went around the sun. And I know that he is going to remember that. And he has. The fall equinox was recently, and he remembered that, oh man, we're getting into fall. The days are getting shorter, and he's noticed that. My daughter has noticed that too. The days are getting shorter. Okay, now we're going to be tilted away from the sun because we're heading towards winter. And there was another lesson we were talking about. It was a lesson on poles and auroras. So we were just talking about the North Pole and the South Pole, the Northern Lights, the Southern Lights, and we pulled up videos of the Northern Lights, and we were talking about that and how, you know, you have to be close to the poles to see that, and how at the North Pole and the South Pole, the sun only rises and sets once a year on the fall and spring equinox, and it depends on which pole you're at as to if it's rising or setting. So, but on the fall equinox, my son was like, oh, the sun just set at the North Pole, and it's gonna, you know, it was just really cool that he was remembering all these things, and he went over to the globe and he was spinning it. And I just think, like, that is what makes it so enjoyable, so much fun, is I took the time to answer their questions, visually show them. We watched videos on all these things. You know, I will never forget putting the globe on the floor and walking it around the magnet tiles and explaining, like, that was just, it was like a core homeschool memory has been unlocked. And I will never forget that. It was so much fun. So I've been really proud of all that they have learned. So that is what our geography has looked like. The things that make it the most fun, like I said, deep dive into whatever their questions are. Sometimes they see a picture in the atlas of some sort of celebration, some cultural thing. We'll look up a video on it and we'll watch it, and they love that. Just if they have questions, taking the time to answer them. If they don't, then I don't bother. My kids are really young. We're going to go through all this again multiple times before they're, you know, in high school. So I'm not worried about if they don't get certain things, but I just want them to have a general understanding of how the world is shaped, where things are, you know, different places. You know, having the Olympics recently, the kids were noticing different flags over the summer. I mean, it was a while ago now, but you know, it was so interesting to them, and I just love seeing them excited that they know something, that mom knows, that dad knows. It makes them feel like they, you know, I'm just, I just get so excited thinking about how excited they are. So that's just a little look at how we've been doing geography in our homeschool this year. Like I said, I have littles, so we're just taking it easy, just exposing the kids to the different countries in the world and all the cool places that exist, and they've been having a lot of fun. And I've been having a lot of fun watching them learn. It's been amazing. So I will leave the links for the things like the scrunch map and the unit that we've been using. Like I said, it's nothing fancy. I have found a few errors in terms of some of the capitals aren't correct. There's been a couple, not a lot, but a couple. And some of the flag designs aren't quite. My son will be coloring them in because I'll blow up the flag on like the iPad or something so they can really see some of the designs, especially if it has like a crest or something in the middle. And he'll be like, that line should really extend all the way this way. So a few of the designs aren't quite exact, only a couple. Like I said, a few of the capitals have been wrong. But for what we want to do, it's absolutely perfect. And it's been a lot of fun. So I will leave also the links for the playlist down below if you want to check out some other channels. Like I said, we have littles, so not everyone's going to do geography the same way that we are. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if it was helpful. Subscribe if you're new and you want to hang around here with me. And I will see you guys all in the next video real soon. Bye.